Welcome to our PBA Experience Podcast. This series of podcasts are provided to give you information and tips that can improve your games. You'll hear from top bowlers like World Cup winner Derek Oak, national champion and USBC coach Brian O'Keefe, and Clash of Champions winner Linda Barnes. The first question we asked was, if someone is going to join a PBA Experience Sport League, what's the first thing they will notice?
You're going to notice that shot making makes a lot more difference than in a house pattern. The buildup of the oil in the middle part of the lane isn't there on the sport pattern, so those shots that kind of almost steer itself towards the pocket aren't going to steer themselves towards the pocket. They're going to go high, they're going to go light. Whether they're missed right of their target, they're going to want to hang out there rather than hook back because of the drier boards, or vice versa with the oil in the middle part of the lane.
Patterns are obviously going to be much more challenging. Execution is really going to come into play, and spare shooting is at a maximum. You have to make spares on sport patterns. It's just part of the deal. The straighter you can go at your spares, the more consistent you're going to be.
Is it true that on sport patterns, bowlers will make more adjustments, and the adjustments made are usually bigger?
Sure. Because the volume of oil in the middle part of the lane isn't as drastic as a house pattern. So on a house pattern, if you start to go high a little bit, the lane starts to dry out, your moves are typically going to be 1 or 2 boards with your feet and 1 or 2 boards with your eyes. With a sport pattern, because that heavy volume of oil isn't there, sometimes you may have to move 3 boards with your feet, a couple boards with your eyes, or even more drastic.
Adjustments are a little different in sport leagues for your house league for a couple of reasons. The pattern's flatter in a sport bowling league. The ratio is 3 to 1 or lower, where a house shot league it's typically around 10 to 1. So in a house shot league you can typically move, just kind of chase the pattern left. You're going to see dry right and oil in the middle, and as the oil in the middle kind of starts to get dry, you can always move left and find oil in the middle. Where sport leagues, that's not necessarily true. Your moves, that could be true though. You could end up just moving left depending on the pattern, but a lot of times in sport leagues you're going to look at maybe changing your ball speed, hand position, bowling ball, and instead of maybe moving 1 or 2 left, you might have to move 5 or 6, or even move right.
You have to take into consideration who you're bowling with, what level of player you're bowling with, what surface you're bowling on, what bowling balls are going down the lane. Obviously, if I'm bowling in a sport bowling pattern and I'm bowling with lower average players that aren't throwing the high performance bowling balls, the oil transitions differently than if I'm bowling out with the tour or Team USA members. In a league bowling, you can kind of camp out in one place and it's pretty predictable. In sport bowling, your players that are bowling with you have a difference in what happens to the lane pattern.
What's the benefit for someone who averages 210 on a house pattern to bowl in a sport league and drop their average 20 pins?
Well, I think if you love the game of bowling, your job is to stretch the limits of your game. So if you're always really good at this part of your game, it'd be nice to be able to get better at this and better at this. And the way to do that is on sport bowling patterns. You get more knowledge, you get better on physical game and mental game because you have to pay attention to ball roll. It's not just stand on the big dot, throw it a 10. It changes from game to game, from shot to shot sometimes.
If you look at it in terms strictly of how many pins you knock down, I can see where that could be that, but it's about just going to the bowling lanes and making good shots, consistent shots, and knowing when you walk out of the bowling center, if you bowled 600, say if you're a 200 average bowler, that you bowled great that night.
That does it for this PBA Experience Podcast. Look for another one coming your way soon. Thank you for watching.